It's time to talk about push-ups. Push-ups are not punishment or a mindless way to acquire repetitions of an exercise. They can actually be quite productive if done properly. If we think of a push-up as just a way to reinforce horizontal pressing mechanics, we can look at sports where people actually horizontal press for insight. One such sport is American football, where if you watch a lineman who basically horizontal press for 50 or so plays a game, the pressing angle, or the relationship of their elbow to their torso, they're not flared way out where some people bench press or do a push-up. They tend to have their elbows closer to their body so that when they get off the line, they can jam somebody and have a stable base underneath them. When we do a push-up, our hands and our feet provide the base. We're not upright, but the same sort of principles as far as spinal stabilization apply. So here's how a push-up should look when we don't regress it. You want to have the shoulders directly over the hands, so you're not back here. If anything, err on the side of being more forward like that. And the first thing you want to look at is, if you hone in on my thoracic spine here, my shoulder blades, you should not be able to go skiing in between my shoulder blades. So if you see a divot in between the shoulder blades, you're probably going to have to regress the individual and elevate the hands. Now, if you don't start right, you're not going to finish right. So this is a good starting position. From here, I want to maintain that engagement by straightening my arms and driving through my palms. Keep that slight flexion of my thoracic spine, and then when I come down, I'm going to keep my elbows close to my body. And if I was doing this on the floor, my nose would hit the ground first. So here's the bottom position right here, and it's the same position that an offensive lineman would jam somebody at the line of scrimmage. And then I press back up. If I'm doing it for reps, it looks like this. So same thing, up and down. It's going to be very difficult for most even highly conditioned athletes that you work with to do a couple of those properly. No way they're doing 50 or so. And even in a burpee, same thing. That's what the push-up aspect of a burpee should look like. If it doesn't, you might want to regress somebody or consider another way to create a metabolic effect. So, like I said, most people won't be able to do it with that kind of form on the floor. So the way to regress is to elevate the hands. If I elevate the hands, nothing really changes. Pressing angle still the same. And even just having people do iso holds like this is a good way to reinforce the position. And you can see the position right here. So elbows are close to the body. It's almost like I want to have my elbows in my hip pockets. Come back up. And another thing you'll notice in the bottom position, the elbow didn't extend very far behind the torso, if at all. And the reason for that is, from a cost-benefit standpoint, the further back we go into shoulder extension, the more laxity we can create in the anterior capsule for very minimal return on investment as far as strengthening. So there are other ways to maintain shoulder extension. I would not recommend trying to develop shoulder extension in a push-up or in a bench press while under load. Again, there are other ways to do it. And if you think about, if you're upright doing any kind of a pressing movement, would you ever want to push somebody away from you with your elbows way back, or would you want to have your elbows more in front of you so you can drive like that? So again, we're not saying this is the best way for aesthetic reasons or for pec hypertrophy, but to maximize reward, minimize risk in the push-up or any kind of horizontal pressing movement, this is the way that we recommend doing it.